Hello viewers, welcome to Newsweek South Asia, a show where we will provide you fresh insights into South Asia's geopolitical, strategic and security situation. Let's take a look at the headlines first. Mastung blast rocked Pakistan, over 55 people dead and several injured. India's Delhi Police Special Cell arrests ISIS most wanted terrorist. And security forces intensify anti-terror operations in Jammu and Kashmir. Let's begin the show with Pakistan's Balochistan province. This is Pakistan's largest province and also the most oppressed. Naturally, this province is perpetually always in the state of unrest. There are frequent terror attacks here. One such attack unfolded recently. There was an explosion in the province's Mastung district. A powerful suicide blast ripped through a mosque here. More than 55 people died and several were injured. Our report will give you all the details. Mastung town in Pakistan's Balochistan province was shrouded in sorrow as a suicide attack claimed the lives of more than 55 people, leaving over 70 injured. This devastating incident marked Pakistan's deadliest terror attack since 2018, when 149 lives were lost to a suicide bombing in the same district. The tragedy unfolded near a mosque where people had gathered to celebrate the birth of Prophet Muhammad. In the aftermath of the initial blast in Mastung, another explosion rocked a mosque in Hangu, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, resulting in at least 5 casualties. Despite no immediate claims of responsibility for these bombings, the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan swiftly distanced themselves from the attacks.
धमाके हो रहे हैं, लॉ इन्फोर्समेंट एजेंसीज को इनका सोचना चाहिए, इन पे एक्शन लें कि ये जुल्म हो रहा है। ये 12 रबीउल अव्वल ईद मिलादुन नबी है, नबी पाक सल्लम का दिन है। इस दिन के ऊपर भी इस तरह की बर्बरियत, ये जुल्म का दिन है, हम इसको कंडेम करते हैं।
For decades, Pakistan has waged a battle against the Pakistani Taliban, a terrorist organization aiming to overthrow the government and establish a strict Islamic state. Despite significant military efforts, the TTP has continued to thrive, carrying out deadly terror attacks on both civilians and security forces. Over the last 5 years, there has been a concerning surge in violence in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan province. Alarmingly, these two provinces collectively accounted for 72% of all fatalities in 2019, a figure that soared to a staggering 92% in the first 9 months of 2023, according to the Center for Research and Security Studies. Experts suggest that the Pakistani state may be playing a double game, covertly supporting the TTP to destabilize Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa provinces, both of which hold strategic resources and harbour separatist movements challenging central government authority. By aiding the TTP, Pakistan can weaken separatists and cultivate an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty, which aids in maintaining its hold on power.
जब से ये तालिबान से सो कॉल्ड पीस डील हुई है पाकिस्तान की रियासत की, उसके बाद ये तालिबान टीटीपी आए हैं खैबर पख्तूनख्वा में एंड इवन बलूचिस्तान में भी ये सेटल्ड हो रहे हैं। तो उनको ला के अब मतलब ये कि ये पाकिस्तानी स्टेट ये कह रही है कि हम इनके ख़िलाफ़ हैं, लेकिन ये मतलब ये कि इंतहाई गलत बात है कि ये इनके ख़िलाफ़ है, यही उनको स्पॉन्सर कर रहे हैं। और उसके बाद आप देख रहे हैं कि बदतखोरी में भी इजाफा हुआ है, टॉर्चर में भी लोगों के इजाफा हुआ है, टारगेट किलिंग बहुत ज़्यादा हो गई है। यानी पिछले कुछ अरसे में 500 से ज़्यादा टारगेट किलिंग्स हुई हैं, जिसमें हाई प्रोफाइल पश्तून शामिल हैं। और इसी तरह बलूचिस्तान में भी ये हो रहा है। पिछले कुछ दिनों में एक ANP के जो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हैं पार्टी के, उनको कत्ल किया गया है। पख्तूनख्वा में तो बहुत ज़्यादा कत्ल हुए हैं, हमारे एल्डर्स कत्ल हो रहे हैं, हमारे ह्यूमन राइट्स डिफेंडर्स कत्ल हो रहे हैं। तो ये मुख्तलिफ स्ट्रेटजीज़ क्रिएट उनको ले कर चल रहे हैं पाकिस्तान की रियासत, लोगों को उठाना और उनको टॉर्चर करना, उसके अलावा टारगेट किलिंग करना और उसके अलावा बम धमाके करना। और सबसे अहम बात ये हो रही है कि पाकिस्तान आर्मी अपने ही सिविलियन इदारों को अटैक कर रही है।
Balochistan, Pakistan's largest yet poorest province, is rich in natural resources. The Pakistani government and military have been accused of exploiting Balochistan's resources for their own benefit, while neglecting the needs of the Baloch people. This has led to resentment and unrest among the Baloch. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is another province that has been targeted by the Pakistani government. It is a home to a strong Pashtun nationalist movement, which the Pakistani government sees as a threat to its national security. The government employs military force to suppress the Pashtun nationalist movement, resulting in widespread human rights abuses. Additionally, proxies including extremist groups like Lashkar-e-Jangvi and Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan are used to foment instability in Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, perpetrating terrorist attacks on civilians, security forces and religious minorities.
ये उनका जो ट्रेनिंग कैंप्स है, इनके मकासद यही हैं। हम बलोचों को वो लोग जो है ना सेकुलर लोग देखते हैं और हमारे ऊपर, हमारे घरों पर, हमारे स्कूलों पर, हमारी मदरसों पर, हमारी औरतों पर, हमारी बच्चों पर ये इस तरह के वो जुल्म करते कर रहे हैं और ये पूरा एक ISI का प्लान्ड प्रोजेक्ट है।
The instability in these provinces has led to the displacement of millions, loss of thousands of lives and hindered economic development. The Mastung and Hangu suicide attacks are the latest in a series of tragic incidents that have raised questions about the Pakistani state's commitment to combating terrorism and safeguarding its citizens. It is imperative for Pakistan to address the root causes of terrorism and provide a better future for its people. Pakistan-backed terrorism has posed a persistent challenge to India's security for years. Terrorists who take shelter in Pakistan have continuously sought to disrupt peace within India's borders. India's law enforcement agencies, however, struck a major blow to Islamabad's devious intentions by apprehending an active terrorist and his associates, successfully thwarting a terror plot aimed at India. We have a report.
The persistent efforts of India's investigative agencies received another breakthrough as a series of raids and collaborative operations led to the apprehension of Mohammad Shahnawaz Alam, a known terrorist in Delhi. Shahnawaz is a member of the ISI's terrorist organization and currently ranks at the top of the National Investigation Agency's most wanted list with a reward of 3 lakh rupees on his head. Additionally, the Delhi Police Special Cell also arrested Mohammad Arshad Warsi and Mohammad Rizwan Ashraf, both active ISI's terrorists who were collaborating with Shahnawaz. Special Commissioner Hargobinder Singh Dhaliwal, head of the Delhi Police Special Cell, confirmed during a recent press conference that Shahnawaz and his associates were planning a major terrorist attack in India. Initial investigations suggest that the terrorists had conducted reconnaissance missions in southern and western India and had attempted to establish an operational base in the Western Ghats.
स्पेशल सेल ने लास्ट मंथ एक NIA ने रिवॉर्ड डिक्लेयर किए थे 3 लोगों पे, जिन पे अलग अलग ब्लास्ट केसेस में उनकी इन्वॉल्वमेंट होने का आरोप था और उनका एक मेन एक्यूज़ था मोहम्मद शाहनवाज। उसको आज सुबह उसके 2 साथियों के साथ, जिसमें मोहम्मद रिजवान अशरफ है और तीसरा मोहम्मद अरशद वारसी है, इनको अरेस्ट किया। आज सुबह कोर्ट में इनको अर्ली मॉर्निंग आवर्स में जज साहब के आगे पेश करके 7 दिन का पुलिस कस्टडी रिमांड लिया गया है। और जब इनके ठिकानों पे रेड हुआ तो तमाम एक्सप्लोसिव्स बनाने की डिफरेंट जो इक्विपमेंट्स थी, जो कि इन्होंने अलग अलग जगह से हासिल करी थी, जिसमें एलिमेंट्री प्लास्टिक ट्यूब्स, आयरन पाइप्स, अलग अलग तरह के केमिकल्स, बहुत सारी और जो टाइमिंग डिवाइसेस एट्सेट्रा जो कि एक्सप्लोसिव बनाने में यूज़ हो सकती थी, वो मोहम्मद शाहनवाज के ठिकाने से हमारी टीम ने रिकवर करी है। इसके अलावा पिस्टल और उसमें कार्ट्रिजेस और उसके साथ और भी जो बॉम्ब बनाने के अलग अलग लिटरेचर थे, जो कि इन्हें ख़ास तौर पे इनके जो क्रॉस दी बॉर्डर पाकिस्तान के हैंडलर्स थे उन्होंने भेजे।
Ongoing interrogations of Shahnawaz and his associates have revealed a change in Pakistan's strategy for spreading terrorism in India. Interrogation of the arrested ISIS terrorists reveals that they were being carefully trained and ordered by their handlers sitting in Pakistan to procure all the needed support and equipment from local sources, building everything from scratch in India itself. This was being done so that no link could be established between the terrorists on the ground back to their handlers operating from the safe havens in Pakistan. However, the recent bust of overground worker network in India and a massive crackdown on individuals involved in terror financing have resulted in the destruction of the terrorism support system in India.
If I try to get things from outside, people will spot it, that there is this particular circle of persons who are receiving a lot of material from outside, who are going outside. So best to, if you want to basically mingle in the surroundings, then you have to operate in the surroundings. So whatever you acquire locally is not going to raise eyebrows unless you start to acquire controversial things very, very fast. So you have to do everything inobtrusively. You must not raise attention. And therefore, one way is to act locally and do it very, very slowly. So that if anybody gets caught, the cell members will only know one another. They will not know the person who basically they are reporting to.
Pakistan, a country plagued by internal problems, has never ceased its efforts to propagate terrorism. Despite a struggling economy, numerous human rights abuses by its military and political instability, Pakistan has not refrained from meddling in India's internal affairs and undermining peace. However, the collaborative efforts of Indian investigative agencies and a strong military presence at the border have consistently ensured that India remains a peaceful and secure nation, which is continuously touching new heights of development and prosperity.
Moving on, a continuous fall in economy, an army which meddles in civilian affairs or can take over the elected government at any time. This all topped by the political leaders who remain busy managing their own mess. Pakistan's people now face a dilemma of life and death. Left with either fleeing from their homelands for a better future, picking up arms to express their aggression, or giving up against the country's problems and suffering. Let's delve into this. Walking for miles while from one side of the border to another now remains the last option for many people living in Pakistan who see no hope of a bright future in Pakistan. These individuals now have no option but to leave their homeland and migrate illegally to Europe after paying loads of money to illegal human traffickers. All while knowing that the promises made by agents or the human traffickers of ensuring a safe travel across borders is nothing more than a bluff. Even today, hundreds of individuals that flee Pakistan never reach their desired destinations alive. The worst phase of the country's illegal migration network was revealed when a fishing boat carrying more than 700 illegal migrants in Greece sank this year. The fishing trawler carried more than 300 Pakistanis who had left their homelands but never reached their destinations. as the spread of terrorism and an unstable government, which is frequently overthrown by military coups, give them no hope for the future.
This is the 7th Prime Minister in the history of Pakistan which has been charged and jailed. The Pakistani people, look at it, the Greek boat tragedy happened in June. 750 people on a boat capsized. 300 of them Pakistanis, 135 of them from Pakistan administered Jammu and Kashmir. Imagine, this is part of a human trafficking business. Now imagine 300 people of Pakistan paid this kind of money, and this is one instance we know of because the boat capsized, running away from their own country because they have absolutely no avenues. Look at the currency rate of the Pakistani rupee. It's in a spiral downfall. So, one can say that this situation in the country is because of terrorism. On the other hand, and both stories are true, because of this situation, there is also terrorism.
Pakistan-bred terrorism is not only a global challenge, but is also making the life of its people miserable. A recent report by the International Labour Organization states that, as of December 2019, more than 11 million Pakistanis have proceeded abroad for employment to over 50 countries through official procedures. Any such report, however, leaves aside the number of people trying to flee from Pakistan via illegal means. Terrorism, a problem which was created by Pakistan as a state policy, remains supported and is harbored over time by security agencies for a long time.
This narrative of the Pakistanis, they are victims of terrorism. I, to a certain extent, do buy that common, normal people of Pakistan are victim of terrorism. But the only people they have to blame is their rulers for it, because this is something which has been cultivated. It is the chickens coming home to roost.
Pakistan has never refrained from its old habits of supporting and harboring terrorism. Terrorists like Masood Azhar, Hafiz Saeed, Sajid Mir, Abdul Rahman Makki, who are at the top of FBI's most wanted list, still enjoy the protection of the Pakistani army and the inter-services intelligence. Even when numerous proofs of them being involved in numerous blasts have been supplied. Pakistan, even in the past, has a track record of creating problems of terrorism for itself and its people, ultimately using brutal force when the general public tries to resist. All while their political leadership is busy making sure they remain safe or in power and are able to use the public for their own interests.
This is Pakistan's Frankenstein's monster. They created them, they sponsored them, they harbored them, they trained them. At some point of time, this monster will turn its back on you. Pakistan will not eradicate terrorism. What Pakistan will do, if the TTP is fighting the Pakistani state, they will support another terrorist group to fight the TTP. And if that group becomes rogue, like it happened in Kashmir, JKLF was supported by the Pakistanis. Ostensibly, JKLF had this kind of independent, secular, kind of wanted to have that outfit. While the JKLF of the 90s, or the late 80s, was absolutely not a secular group or a pro-nationalist group. So what happened? In order to counter the JKLF, the Hizbul Mujahideen was created. In order to counter the Hizbul Mujahideen, the Lashkar was created. Then the Jaish-e-Mohammed was created. The same is going to happen here.
Inevitably, the people of Pakistan now suffer at the hands of their regime and their army. They see no hope of a life of prosperity and safety. The security forces in Jammu and Kashmir are operating at a heightened state of readiness, diligently working to dismantle the terrorist network within the region. In a recent operation, the Jammu and Kashmir Police, in cooperation with security forces, successfully eliminated 2 terrorists in Kulgam, South Kashmir. Police records affirm the involvement of both deceased terrorists in various terrorism-related offences. Simultaneously, security forces launched another operation in Kalakot, Rajouri, prompted by reports of suspicious activities in the area. This joint operation involved the Indian Army, Jammu and Kashmir Police and CRPF personnel with the primary objective of eliminating terrorists concealed within the dense forests. We have a report.
The vigilance of Indian security forces has intensified due to evolving tactics employed by Pakistan-based terrorists seeking to infiltrate Jammu and Kashmir and disrupt the peace in the region. On October 4th, Jammu and Kashmir Police, in collaboration with security forces, successfully neutralized 2 terrorists in Kulgam, South Kashmir. Acting on specific intelligence regarding terrorist presence in the Kujjar area of Kulgam, a joint cordon and search operation was swiftly launched by Kulgam Police, the Indian Army and CRPF in the targeted area. As the joint search party approached the suspected location, the concealed terrorists opened fire indiscriminately, prompting an effective retaliation and ensuing in an encounter. This encounter resulted in the elimination of 2 terrorists associated with the banned Hizbul Mujahideen outfit, and their bodies were subsequently recovered from the encounter site. Police records confirm the involvement of both slain terrorists in multiple terror-related crimes. Concurrently, another operation was initiated by security forces in Rajouri's Kalakote, prompted by information about suspicious movements in the region. This operation, jointly conducted by the Indian Army, Jammu and Kashmir Police and CRPF personnel, aimed to root out terrorists hiding in the dense forests.
लगातार सुबह से फायरिंग चल रही है। वैसे तो नफरी तो परसों से रात से ही लगी है। आज समझो 48-72 घंटे होने जा रहे हैं। तो रात को ज़बरदस्त फायरिंग हुई है। उसमें हमने जो आवाज़ें सुनी हैं वो तो मोटार जैसे ग्रेनेड या रॉकेट लॉन्चर वगैरह फटता है, इस तरह से बड़ी आवाज़ें भी आई। तो रात भर फायर चलता रहा। लोगों में काफ़ी दहशत का माहौल है क्योंकि पूरा गाँव रात को सहमा रहा।
The area where this operation took place is situated on the border of Rajouri district with Riyasi district and had previously served as a significant route for terrorists crossing the line of control from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir into the Kashmir Valley and the Chenab Valley region. It is evident that Pakistan has shifted its tactics, dispatching highly trained and well-equipped terrorists to execute guerrilla-style attacks on security convoys, camps and patrols, rather than deploying them in the Kashmir Valley to target civilians and minorities. Jammu and Kashmir Police suspect that Rajouri, Poonch and Riyasi districts are primary targets for Pakistan and its affiliated terror groups aligning with Islamabad's agenda to reignite terrorism in the region. In the past 9 months, the border districts of Rajouri and Poonch have witnessed the loss of 18 lives, including 11 soldiers, while security forces have successfully eliminated more than half a dozen terrorists in the last 3 months. These twin border districts, located south of Pir Panjal, have been subjected to 3 major terror attacks on January 1 at Dhangri, April 20 at Tota Gully in Poonch, and May 5 in the Kandi forests of Rajouri.
Earlier, Pakistan used to target the belt which is adjacent to the Kashmir Valley because they had more supporters in Kashmir Valley, and with the kind of the religious affiliation they had, terrorists were more comfortable and used to feel that they are safer. Over a period, the counter terrorist grid and the counter infiltration grid in the Kashmir Valley has become very tight. So it has become very difficult for them to infiltrate from Kashmir Valley. So that's why the troop density was relatively lower in the Jammu and Rajouri sector. So that's why they thought that we may have little more chances in getting through the infiltration if we use the other sector, that is the Jammu-Rajouri sector.
Pakistan's persistent efforts to disrupt peace in India, orchestrated covertly, continue to be a regrettable recurrence. Despite grappling with internal challenges, including economic difficulties, Pakistan persists in fueling terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir. In contrast, India maintains a well-structured framework to counteract such threats and safeguard the region's tranquility.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of Newsweek South Asia. We'll be back next week with more news, views and analysis from the subcontinent. Meanwhile, do keep writing to us at NWSA@nin.com. This is Shivangi Mishra signing off on behalf of the entire production team of Newsweek South Asia. Goodbye and take care.